As lows fall back.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, and it is a glorious Tuesday. A lot of stuff on the plate today. Virginia, the new AG, Jay Jones, is going to appeal to the Supreme Court the ruling by the state Supreme Court that said the gerrymandering of the state of Virginia in favor of Democrats was illegal 100%. Not only how they actually got the thing on the ballot, but also the ballot itself, among other things. And it has zero chance of being heard by the Supreme Court. And it doesn't help that he, by the way, sent it to the wrong court. Virginia Democrats and AG Jay Jones appealed to the wrong court while trying to get the Supreme Court to help reinstate their gerrymandering map. They wrote to the Supreme Court of Virginia by accident. They also filed, the filing also had a ton of spelling errors, including misspelling the state of Virginia and senator. Instead of senator, they said senator. Boy, I tell you what, these Democrats, they are brilliant. We're going to be talking about this with State Senator Bryce Reeves at the bottom of the hour. I got a lot of audio to get to, a lot of fun. It's fun to watch the Democrats as they continue their tailspin into hell. And it's funny to read, different publications saying, oh yeah, the Democrats are going to destroy the Republicans in the midterms. No, they're not. No, and all this getting rid of all the racial gerrymandering and everything is going to ensure that the Republicans are unbeatable in the midterms. So there's that. Nice try, though. But I want to start off the show with some darn good news because I love to hear this jingle and I love to share good news.
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning.
Lots of winning.
It's oh so good.
This is U.S. Trade Ambassador Jameson Greer. And none of you knew this, but all of the manufacturing and stuff that's happening in America and all of the tariffs and all of that, because we were kind of getting bent over and taken advantage of by the entire world. And now we're actually exporting more goods than we ever have. We're exporting oil. We're building factories here in America. And he says that we are at, are you ready? You better sit down with this. I know that Donald Trump is a Nazi and white supremacist, Hitler and everything and all that. But we are at the highest exports in 250 years.
So we spent the past year obviously using tariffs to protect American production, and that gets a lot of the news. Yeah. But a little bit of the untold story are these deals. We've had dozens of countries come to us and pledge to lower their tariffs and non-tariff barriers to U.S. exports. And a lot of them have
you know why? Because we're the friggin' United States of America. There you go.
Already done that, dropping those tariffs.
Yeah.
Just a couple of examples. United States exports of corn went up by 25% last year.
We're corn stars.
Right. That's a huge amount. And if you look at January, February, and March of this year, U.S. exports were over $300 billion in each month.
What?
Those are the highest figures in 250 years
of
American history.
Wow.
Each month beating the record of the previous.
But honestly, Donald Trump's doing a terrible job, and he's going to get beaten in the midterms.
This doesn't happen organically. This is something that comes from.
That's part of a plan, and not having a president who goes on vacation 40% of the time and then 60% after he drops out of the race because he had dementia.
All the deals that President Trump has been striking.
I know.
So we're seeing the Americans who build stuff, who grow stuff, who make stuff. They're not only serving the American market now, they're getting more overseas.
Well, that's weird because Barack Obama said, I ain't got no magic wand. I can't bring back manufacturing in America. I can't do anything about it. Honestly. See what happens when you have a president who does stuff and a president who actually knows business and a president who goes to Washington, D.C. to do what we ask him to do. That's what happens, you see. So we're kicking butt and we're taking names. And I don't know if you knew this, but the reflecting pond, the pool in front of the Washington, the Lincoln Memorial, has it's iconic. Martin Luther King Jr. stood above that and delivered his "I Have a Dream" speech, and people gathered around it. Jenny and Forrest got together and they kissed each other in front of the crowd. Forrest Gump and Jenny right there in the reflecting pool. It's been a horrible mess. It's been a putrid pond of goose crap and slime for years. And they said it was going to cost $300 million. It would take 3 years to fix. And Donald Trump said, no, wait a minute, hold on. I got all these hotels around the world, and I rebuilt the New York skyline and everything. I'm kind of good at this building thing. How about I just get the world's best swimming pool experts to come in, since it's pretty much just a large swimming pool, and we have them do it for it. And they said, Mr. President, how long will it take? The president said. They said, well, it's going to take 3 weeks, and it's going to cost $2 million. And the Democrat Party have been shrieking and screaming and yelling because I guess Donald Trump's going to defame the putrid swamp that is the reflecting pool. Barack Obama did the same thing. I don't know if you knew this. Barack Obama came in with $30 million. And it took months and months and months to fix the reflecting pool. And when they reopened it, it was as slimy and scummy as it was before.
Being just cleaned and opened up a month ago, looks like nothing was done.
That's 2012.
Real nasty.
The pool was closed for almost 2 years and underwent a $34 million renovation project.
Wow.
It'd be nice if it was clearer water so that one could reflect without seeing the algae.
The first thought was, oh, that's kind of nasty.
Yeah, there you go. $30 million shut down for 2 years, Barack Obama, and they open it up, and it is scummy as your swimming pool if you've had it covered for the winter. You know what I'm talking about? If you guys have a swimming pool, it's always best to have friends who have a swimming pool, not actually have one yourself. But if you leave it sit all winter, you peel the top off, and it is just sludge and slime, and you got to do this thing called shocking it. And you throw a bunch of chemicals into it, and it kills all the slime and sludge and all that. But Barack Obama spent 2 years and $30 million on the damn thing. And it was still filthy and awful. Didn't do a damn thing. Didn't do a thing. Donald Trump's going to have it sparkling, clear, blue, painted blue. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be ready for the 250th anniversary of our great country. There's a great faith-based event happening this Sunday. I'm going in for that. I'm looking forward to it. It's a rededication to one nation under God. I wanted to mention this. I was talking to a guy today who works here at the office. I don't know him very well. He's an architect, and I go into this box here on the other end of the building and do a TV and radio show. And I said, I'm going down to this event on Sunday to rededicate America to faith in the 250th anniversary of our country's birth. And he goes, oh, yeah, I'm going down there too. And I said, oh, you're going down there? It's called Rededicate 250 on the National Mall. And I said, well, that's pretty cool because, I've never talked to him about religion or anything. And he said, yeah, I'm heading down there. I'm bringing my niece. She's got an internship. She's staying with us and all of that. And then we're going to go down there because it's important that we be there. And he says, oh, yeah, years ago, I was at this thing called Promise Keepers. Promise Keepers was down on the National Mall, and there were 2.5 million people came down there. Now, if you remember the 1990s, some of you don't because you were born then, but the Promise Keepers came around. It was a group of men of all colors, blacks, whites, everything, and they rededicated themselves to faith in their family, faithfulness with their wives, being a good father and all this, and the left shredded them as sexist, as misogynistic and all of this, and they shot it down. They do that. The left does this. Anytime there's a faith movement or a good movement, the Tea Party movement, they destroyed it, call it a bunch of white supremacists and all of this. And I'm thinking maybe this event coming on Sunday is finally the culmination of decades of the left trying to tear us down and dragging us into hell with them, and us finally saying, nah, you go ahead. We're going without you. And I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Donald Trump yesterday, Trump RX is happening. Joe Biden, when he was the president, he said he was going to lower the price of insulin. That was all he was going to do as far as drug prices. He was going to lower the price of insulin. That was him. That was what he did, supposedly, I guess. Maybe if you take insulin, it actually happened. But it was nothing compared to what Donald Trump is doing, lowering the price of prescription medications dramatically. Here is Dr. Oz and President Trump yesterday, something he's not getting any credit for on the national media, but it is historic. It is absolutely historic.
It is working spectacularly well, incredibly effective at so many things. That there's not an American around buying a medication who should not check TrumpRx.gov first.
Yeah.
We propose, Mr. President, it's going to save us $600 billion.
Let me go ahead. I'm going to check my medication over here on the Trump RX. Fill in erectile. Nothing at all.
Over the next decade, the kinds of savings we're going to achieve from the most favored nation drug pricing that Secretary Kennedy organized.
I'm in Ozempic.
And the media doesn't write about it. If a Democrat proposed it, it'd be front page news every day for the rest of your life. The media.
But Joe Biden got insulin prices possibly, or at least made a promise, and he said he was going to cure cancer, and he didn't do that.
They don't want to write about it. Think of it. We're reducing drug prices by 500, 600%, or 80%.
Yeah, but you're a white supremacist, Nazi, MAGA fascist enemy of democracy.
Or 75%. Anyway, it's all about the phrasing of the question.
Trying to beat black people from voting.
And the media doesn't write about it. It's amazing. It's so sad. It's so biased. And that's why the media, their approval rating went down just today, 12%. You had
12% approval rating. That's fantastic. It was like my wife's approval of me before we divorced. It was right up there. I might have been a little higher. BF05 over there on Rumble says, my insulin never went down under Biden. No, because he always promised crap. He said he was going to cure cancer, too. The media never held him to the account for saying he's going to cure cancer. He didn't cure cancer. But you know the one thing Democrats did really well with Medicaid? They made it into a gigantic slush fund and a gigantic organized crime cabal. Here is Dr. Oz talking about if they just got rid of the fraud for Medicaid, ushered in by largely the Democrat Party, it'd be around forever.
If we take the fraud out of Medicare, just Medicare alone, we would double the life expectancy of the Medicare Trust Fund, which means if you're working right now and you're worried about Medicare being there for you, or if you're on Medicare now and you're worried that it might have some financial issues, we would double its life expectancy if we just took the fraud out of the system. In aggregate, Medicare, Medicaid.
Well, you mean all those autism centers and all those hospice care centers, if we just got rid of that, it'd be around for a while?
The vice president was speaking about in that earlier clip with Nick Shirley, it's about $100 billion that we're looking at now that we can bring back into the Treasury.
Minimum.
And so I'm compelled both to do the job as CMS administrator that the president has put me in charge of to get that money back or never leave the building so that we don't get foreign countries taking advantage of this. But we also have an obligation to protect our most vulnerable, to not let these fraudsters corrupt the very foundation of our social safety net system.
The Democrat Party did the equivalent to Medicaid of what Barack Obama did with the reflecting pool. Spent a lot of money, and it's still just filled with scum and filth. There you go. All right, we got a ton of stuff to get to. Election in Virginia, that Supreme Court decision has got Democrats going bananas. Hakeem Jeffries is going to pitch a fit. None of it's going to make a damn bit of difference. It's not going to make a bit of difference. Deal with it. We're going to cover that on the way. This, my friends, is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. If you are on Medicare or about to be, you could be overpaying right now and never know it. Here's why. Millions of seniors are in a plan that doesn't fit their needs. Because Medicare is complicated, many brokers just steer people into plans that pay them the most. That's absurd. That is so absurd, I decided to write a little slogan for it. Medicare sure ain't fair, and choosing a plan is a bear. Pick a plan with a broker if you dare, and you might end up with a scare. Okay, listen, it's a little rough. You need to know about Chapter. They're the only national advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. With Chapter, you'll see what a plan actually costs when you need it, not just the $0 some plans advertise. Your doctors are covered and your prescriptions are too. You'll have confidence you have the coverage you need. A call with Chapter is free, takes about 20 minutes. If you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, call 27-MEDICARE. Again, that's 27-MEDICARE. Call 27-MEDICARE today.
street protesters, we've had our fill. But Randy Fine has a bill, says move them on over. Run them all over. Run over protesters blocking all our roads. The Thump Thump Bill is what it's called. I'm sure the left will be appalled, but move them on over. Run them all over. Step on the gas if they won't step aside. Sure, it might leave a dent, but make them a hood ornament. Run them all over. Thump them all over. If they block our streets, they'll get what they deserve.
I always accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. With me, there is no in between. State of the Union scored, approval rate how it has soared. Democrats cannot afford to take me for granted anymore. Inflation's low, employment's high. The Dow Jones, it is headed for the sky. Borders secure, illegals aren't jetting in. That's why I accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. With me, there is no in between.
WCBM.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
It is the Rob Carson Show. Bryce Reeves, Virginia State Senator, is going to join us at the bottom of the hour to talk about all of the shenanigans of the Democrat Party. They tried to pass illegal gerrymandering to eliminate representation from the Republican Party in the state of Virginia. In case you didn't know, like Maine and Massachusetts have up to like 45% Republicans. No Republican representatives in those states. It's been that way for years and years and years and years and years. The Democrat Party wanted to take an otherwise fairly gerrymandered state with a 6-5 split between Republicans and Democrats, which was perfectly fair, and they wanted to make it exclusively Democrat with the exception of one representative in a state that's 50-50 split. And the Virginia Supreme Court looked at this referendum that they rammed down the Virginians' throats, and they were deceptive about it. Even the ballot measure itself was deceptive, leaning it toward the Democrat Party, in favor of the Democrat Party, yet saying it was somehow making the representation fair. So it was a complete joke. It got thrown out. It was a laughing stock, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere from here. Hakeem Jeffries saying they're vowing a massive response following redistricting effort, the setback in Virginia. It isn't going to make it's not going to mean D word for Richard. They're going to try and send it to the Supreme Court of the United States of America. That's going to fail. The new AG of the state of Virginia sent the appeal to the wrong court, sent it to the Supreme Court of Virginia, and then also it included a bunch of spelling errors too, apparently. This is how unserious and uneducated these people are. Here's Carl Higbee talking about the AG of Virginia being effectively illiterate. You can't say that, that's racist. No, I can't actually. If you're going to be an adult, you got to be able to spell.
You don't think Democrats have shifted to the left? Check this out. The guy who was governor, who appointed the guy who wrote this decision in Virginia to not let Democrats do something. By the way, this was not a partisan ruling.
No.
Okay. The court just said, hey, guys, you didn't separate two legislative sessions by a general election like the Constitution says. But the guy who...
And then the misleading language on the ballot.
Put that justice on the court is now like, the court's partisan. What? And now the violent attorney general, the guy who threatened to kill his opponent's kids. That's their new attorney general in Virginia right now. He just appealed their Democrat gerrymander map that was unconstitutional to the Supreme Court, where he not only misspelled his own state of Virginia on the filing, but they also misspelled senator.
You know, you've got this thing on your computer. I don't know if you knew this. It literally will do a little spell check for you. I do that all the time. I'm real careful because I'm kind of a grammar Nazi. You're just a Nazi. No, I'm just a grammar Nazi. And occasionally I'll miss something and I'll just have it checked for me. It's really not that hard to do. It's really not that hard to do. What a maroon. Anyway, one of the most outrageous things, I got to tell you, there's this caterwauling and this, just shrill shrieking from the left, and CNN is just, I'm enjoying it, actually. Guy named Bakari Sellers, and Bakari Sellers says this: getting rid of racial gerrymandering erases every accomplishment by black people in the last 130 years. Sorry. Conservative comedy is ascending because the left can't be taken seriously anymore. All right? And when you say stupid crap like this, I'm going to make fun of you.
If somebody fell asleep in 1896 and woke up today in 2026, they would simply say the only difference is now Negroes have a TV show and we wear nice suits. They swapped out Klan hoods for Brooks Brothers suits.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! He must have gotten some sort of lessons from Al Sharpton on what would I call rhetorical flourishes. I mean, how stupid is this? Listen, hold on. This is like out of somebody's playbook.
If somebody fell asleep in 1896 and woke up today in 2026. They would simply say the only difference is now Negroes have a TV show and we wear nice suits. They swapped out Klan hoods for Brooks Brothers suits.
Yeah, sure.
And that is the problem. I mean, Plessy v.
What you just said is so bloody stupid. You're erasing the memory of Jesse Owens, Rosa Parks, Muhammad Ali, Oprah, Thurgood Marshall, Obama, Malcolm X, MLK Jr. Whenever you do this, whenever you say stupid crap like this, you cheapen the memory of people who've really suffered, unlike you, Bakari Sellers, spoiled entitled panelist on CNN. Dear God.
Ferguson was 7-1, and it gave birth to 50 years of Jim Crow. What we have with this
Democrat policy
court right now, what we're seeing is watching people who have fought and died and bled so that we would have access to the ballot box, so that we would have access to our voices being heard in Congress, being ripped away.
Everything he's just said is completely over the top, ridiculous, inflammatory, and stupid. Hundreds of thousands of white people died during the Civil War to free the slaves.
And I think that there is a casual laughter from people we...
Oh, no, it's real laughter when you talk like this. I'm laughing at you because you're a buffoon.
...believe to be our friends on the right, who are showing us true colors today, because the most sacred, or one of the most sacred acts you have in the United States of America is the ability to cast a ballot and elect someone and send them to...
And nobody is taking that away from anyone. They're just taking the ability to steal and base districts on gerrymandering of race away from the Democrat Party. And by the way, the same states who are affected by the getting rid of the race gerrymandering are the former Confederate states run by Democrats.
Congress, the State House, or a mayoral seat that represents your interest, and now black folks throughout the South are being silenced. And I don't find that to be a laughing matter.
Not one little bit. They're not one little bit. No one is saying that black people can't vote. It's just so ridiculous. It is just so utterly ridiculous as to be laughable. And I am going to do nothing but laugh at you when you say stupid things like that. Senator Bryce Reeves, he's an evil white guy, I guess. Anyway, no, he's a Virginia senator. He's going to join us on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. Or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor. In New York City, Zoran Mandami is doing an estate tax of up to 50%. That's what he's pushing for. For families leaving behind a life's earnings, that's devastating. What are you leaving for your family? Do you have life insurance? I do, because I want my kids to be able to live a great life, pay off debt, maybe have it a little easier than I did. You can protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get up to $3 million in coverage in as little as 10 minutes by going to ethos.com/Carson. Application times may vary, rates may vary, but protection is there for you. If you get life insurance through Ethos, it'll give you peace of mind in case something happens. Ethos helps provide financial security for your family. Ethos helps protect them in this frequently unpredictable world. There's no medical exam, just answer a few health questions online. Get a rate in as little as 10 minutes. Get the ball rolling today by going to ethos.com/Carson. That's ethos.com/Carson. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a Ghost Bed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime.
TDS, James Covell has TDS. Will I land in a psych ward? That is anybody's guess. It's for sure, I'm insane. I really can't explain why for Donald Trump I have so much disdain. I'm as crazy as a loon. I'm gonna crack up soon. It's expanding like a big balloon. It's gotten even worse. It's gonna be my curse. TDS, TDS, TDS. TDS, TDS. Is it derangement? I say yes. Whenever Trump is mentioned, I become a giant mess. It causes me such pain, pain I can't contain. Of my existence, he has been a bane, like Ellen and Rosie. In our brain, he lives rent-free, driven me as crazy as can be. It's something I can't shake. How much more can I take? TDS, TDS, TDS.
There's a better chance of me sprouting wings and flying out of that window over there than the United States Supreme Court dealing with this in any way, because this is a state Supreme Court ruling on a state constitution. The U.S. Supreme Court doesn't deal with these kinds of things, number one. Number two, the freak out in Virginia has been so extreme. You even have Democrats over there who are saying they want to effectively politically decapitate the entire Virginia Supreme Court by putting an age limit of 54 so they can get rid of every existing justice and install people who will promise to rule a certain way on a certain case.
Wow, they have certainly gone bananas in Virginia. They tried to illegally gerrymander the state. They lied about the ballot initiative. They forced it down to Virginia voters' throats. Then they lied on the actual ballot about it being fairness and whatnot. Got shot down because, you know, God has a sense of humor. And the Democrat Party is now, they're going to get rid of the Supreme Court. So stupid. I've got to give somebody on here to talk about this. We have got from the great state of Virginia, State Senator. I'm sorry, no. If I'm gonna be real with like Jay Jones, State Senator Bryce Reeves.
Oh yeah, Senator. Yeah, I've got 4 legs.
How are you today, Senator? Oh my God!
Well, I'm in. How do they spell Virginia? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That magical, mystical place.
Oh my God!
That? He couldn't even. He can't even do the affidavit correctly. Like, what an idiot!
It is. It is. It is. You know. And listen, you can easily do that. I'm very careful. Even when I write, just like emails to my kids, I spell check. But they literally, they first of all, Jay Jones appealed to the wrong court, and then misspelled Virginia and Senator.
Yeah, but he's not the only one. Louise Lucas had it on her statement, her public statement she came out with after the FBI raided her thing. She's a senator.
Oh, that's true. And she's also, and she's like a big cheese there. She had apparently she was involved with some weed shops, right? Isn't she kind of higher up there in the state of Virginia? She's good buddies with Abigail Spanberger, and now she's
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe she was smoking some weed.
Her weed shops. But, you know, they wanted 10-1 in redistricting. She had 10 weed shops. So we were like, yeah, 10-1 really came back to roost. But,
I'm thinking she got some of her weed was being consumed by Jay Jones and others.
Well, listen, I wouldn't want to be in her shoes right now. Besides that, she's got those Medicaid health facilities. I don't know if it's going to turn out to be something like they have in Minnesota.
Okay, so I'm not familiar with that, actually. I knew about the weed shop. So is she possibly involved with some chicanery with regard to Medicaid like they have in Minnesota, California, and Maine, and New York, and all these other states? Really?
Yeah,
really?
Home care stuff. And
wow.
I don't know. I stay as far away from that stuff as I can.
Wow.
You know, I try not to associate with people that aren't of the same cloth.
I tell you, but the Democrats' reaction to this, and they really are, they're like banshees being dragged into the pits of hell. I mean, they're going nuts. They say they want to, of all things, it's not going to go anywhere. It's outlandish on the face of it. They want to pass through the legislature a mandatory retirement age of 54 years, so everybody on the Supreme Court goes away. That is just, I mean, beyond banana republic kind of stuff. What did you say to your colleagues when that was floated?
Well, they certainly could probably do it. I don't know that there's going to be a lot of people inclined to deal with that. I think there'd be some lawsuits as well with that, and they'd probably lose knowing that Jay Jones is their attorney. Our minority leader, Senator McDougal, is the one that stood up for all of the Virginians, and he brought our suit from the Senate. And we won. So, I don't think they have the same caliber attorneys on their side that we have on our side. Mm-hmm. We actually read the Constitution and try to adhere to it. So, it is it's an interesting time in Virginia as these bills are coming due. And she signed a lot. Some were 7-day bills, or they're probably, I don't know that Spanberger did anything with them, and they just become law. So, it's anybody's guess, but they are in disarray. They're like fire ants down in the South. They're just piling on top of each other and wanting to bite anybody that gets near them. So, I love it. I hope they spend a ton more money trying to fight this all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. I hope they spend millions and millions of dollars. Please spend millions and millions because they're going to lose.
No, they're going to lose massively. And after, I got to tell you, what was it like? Because they were such cocky little jerks when they won. And when you walked in after it had been overturned by the state Supreme Court, what was it like? What was it like in the State House?
Oh, they were shocked. Nobody would come out with a statement. They were just shocked. Shock and awe, buddy. It was like they got hit with a Moab, and they were still shocked. But the reason is Judge Kelsey, who wrote the opinion, is a Democrat. I won't call him a Democrat. They're supposed to be agnostic. Yeah. But he was put on the appellate court by Mark Warner,
yes,
and 100% of the Democrats voted him on to the Supreme Court. And guess what? Kelsey did his job. He upheld his oath of office and to the rule of law, be damned with politics. And he's got to come up pretty soon for reappointment, but he did the right thing. And, thank God there are still people who, regardless of their political affiliation, took that oath, and that's primary to their political party.
I want to play some audio from Jason Miyares, the former AG, talking about the Democrat trying to appeal this to the Supreme Court, which is going nowhere. It was approved by the referendum was overturned by the Virginia Supreme Court. They want to try to appeal it to the U.S. Supreme Court. Here's Jason Miyares.
You have this scheme where they essentially want to unconstitutionally remove justices in Virginia. The Constitution of Virginia says you can only remove justices by impeachment in Virginia. In this case, by arbitrarily lowering the retirement age. It is an unconscionable scheme. It shows how little on the rule of law that they've been paying attention to just to pursue power. It shows why, candidly, also why Abigail Spanberger is the least popular governor in modern Virginia history. She did a bait and switch. I call her Governor Bait and Switch. Yeah. She governed as a moderate, and she's campaigned as a leftist, or she's campaigned as a moderate and governed as a leftist, which should be a message to all Americans for Democratic candidates running this fall up and down the ballot.
Yeah, that's and I said this actually when she became the governor and started all this left-leaning nonsense, including the gerrymandering she said she wouldn't do. The Democrat Party exposed its flank. Not only in the state of Virginia, but across the country. You cannot trust what they say. And I think she's done a lot of damage to the party. Go ahead.
No, I agree with Jason's statement, all but one. She's not governing anything. She's not leading or governing anything. The House and the Senate Democrats are in control of everything. She's not even managing chaos. So I don't think the woman could lead her way out of a wet paper bag at this point, and she's certainly not going to work with the Republicans. We don't trust her.
No,
once you break that trust, you lie to us.
Yeah.
Why should we come to the table and believe anything you have to say? She hasn't tried to even build trust with us.
It's like negotiating with Iran.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, it is.
Ayatollah Spanberger.
I think I would actually believe the Iranians more than I do Abigail Spanberger. Listen, I want to continue the conversation on the other side of the break. Again, we've got State Senator Bryce Reeves on the phone from Virginia. We're going to come back in a minute. This is the Rob Carson Show. God. Hey.
Tonight, Virginia Democratic leaders are going to the U.S. Supreme Court to try to overturn a state ruling striking down their new gerrymandered congressional map. The 4-3 decision at the Virginia Supreme Court, found that the Democratic-controlled legislature violated the Commonwealth's Constitution by not following clear and simple rules for a public vote on a constitutional amendment. It's unclear tonight whether the Supreme Court will even take up the case.
It doesn't sound like they will, but joining us on the Newsmax hotline, I'll pronounce it correctly this time, Virginia State Senator Bryce Reeves. I've been hearing from experts everywhere that the Supreme Court won't touch us with a 10-foot pole. You can never completely eliminate the possibility, but what are your thoughts?
I don't think they will. My colleague, my seatmate, is probably one of the foremost attorneys in the state, and he's a constitutional attorney, and it's like it's over. It's a state issue. We've handled it. We've done it by the book. Our Supreme Court has ruled, and it's going to stick. But I don't want to detour my colleagues from spending millions of dollars trying to pursue
100%.
Go pursue it. Hakeem Jeffries, if you're listening, spend $2 billion to do this, please.
Yeah, just like he did on Kamala Harris's presidential campaign. Hakeem Jeffries is vowing a massive response to last week's Virginia Supreme Court decision. He says they'll be launching a multi-pronged counteroffensive featuring new redistricting efforts in blue states, new lawsuits against GOP-drawn maps in red states, and an all-hands messaging push designed to pin rising costs on President Trump. These are the death throes of a party in desperation. We had 4 major things happen last week. We had the SCOTUS ruling on Monday. We had the butt kicking of rhinos in Indiana, not necessarily related, but certainly with regard to the momentum of the Trump agenda. You had Louisiana and you had Memphis. All happened last week, and then of course what happened in Virginia as well. So all of these things portend the Democrats losing a whole lot of seats in the midterms. I mean, this really, if you look at it, the number of Republican seats that will be advantaged by this is going to be really hard for the Democrat Party to regain control of either house.
I agree with you, but there's still one thing out there that people look at every day as they go to work, and that's gas prices.
I know.
Living.
I know.
You know, the president's got to get this straight, and we got to get the oil pumping. And I don't know why we don't release our strategic reserves and get these prices down, but maybe he's waiting till September, October.
I don't know. It sounds like to me that he's getting ready to pull the trigger on some boom boom in Iran, and I think that's probably what's going to have to happen, to be honest. These hardliners, they're able to feed themselves. They're able to stay in power. They're working with communist China to extend this as possible because they want to affect the midterms by this. That's what's really going on here, and I think this president is losing patience with the whole thing. And I would assume the next step is going to be the promise that he made about bridges and power plants. What do you think?
Oh, 100%. Based on my military experience, I'm surprised we haven't done it yet.
I know, me too.
I think the bigger thing is just going on the ground and getting rid of that enriched uranium. I think that's going to be key. Once they identify where that is, I think they will go ahead and by force and take that. And, you know, to all the people that are listening that don't remember, I remember going back to Iran-Contra as a little kid and watching the Iranians take over the embassy, and I've watched they do proxy wars for all these years I've been growing up, even while I was on active duty. And, you know, these people just do the same thing. I mean, it's repeat, rinse, and Trump's the only one that's actually going to put his foot down. And, you know, between him and Rubio and Hegseth, I think they're doing a bang-up job.
Well, there's a lot of good happening. He did a big presser yesterday about the massive decrease in prescription drugs. Trump RX is doing an amazing stuff. You've got J.D. Vance going after massive fraud around the entire country. You've got the Democrat Party, their ability to steal elections by paying NGOs billions of dollars and it coming back to Democrat campaigns. That the wheels are falling off of that. Mail-in voting is going to be secure. You've also got voter rolls being cleaned of dead people and illegals. So it's going to be very difficult for the Democrats to do what they've done. They're going to have to actually, come up with an actual platform. And they haven't for years, am I right? The Democrat Party hasn't really campaigned on anything but we hate Donald Trump in years. Nothing they're doing is appealing to the average voter.
None. Zero. They're not fixing education. They're still throwing more dollars at it. We're still seeing students not improve. Parents are realizing this. And, you know, the truth is, at least in Virginia, let me say the optics are this.
Yeah.
Everyone on either side of the aisle that I talk to in my district, they're not real happy with the leadership now. We still don't have a budget.
Yeah.
And our budget chairman from the Senate side's wrapped up in this FBI stuff. I think they all have buyer's remorse at this point. That's why she has the lowest approval ratings out of any governor since we've been in modern times.
Listen, don't you think that the Democrats don't want 80 new taxes? I mean, this governor and this legislature, they're taxing things just because they don't have taxes on them. They want to do gym memberships. What the hell kind of sense does it make if you want your population to be healthy, if you're going to tax my friggin' gym membership? What's the deal?
Well, they're going to start... I remember a couple of years ago, Delaware was taxing rainwater. So
what the hell? Well, they tried that in Maryland too. You know? Oh my God! Yeah. I think what they did, they exposed their flanks so we can kick their butt. I really do. And I'm going to tell you, just in closing here, Bryce Reeves, senator from the state of Virginia. I think a lot of people are ready to give up. I moved here 10 months ago, and I was like, well, screw this. If they're going to do this, I'll go to West Virginia. But now I see that Virginia has some fight in them, and they ain't going to let this go quietly into the night.
No, not our caucus. I think I told you that early on when we first got to know each other that, hey, we're fighting. We're down one, but we're not giving up. We're not going to yield to these guys, and they did a great job. I'm so proud of my colleagues that brought this suit, that won it. They're just the best attorneys in the country, I think, but they, you know, for love of country, they didn't get paid anything. They did it out of, like, if we didn't sue, nobody was going to sue, so that's why the Senate sued.
I love it. I love it, brother. Well, I appreciate you being on, man, and having a little bit of fun with us today. God bless, Godspeed. I'm optimistic about being a resident of the great state of Virginia. Thank you, sir. Make sure to go to Reeves VA on Twitter and get working on education in the state of Virginia as well while you're at it, because I think the Democrats need it.
Well, I'm just a senator.
Yes,
I'm not
you are.
A senator, so I'm a senator.
All right, we'll talk again soon. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. That's the most fun I've had with a politician on the phone in a long damn time. That was fun. Hello, guys. What's going on? Hello, Iswood 4F and GJ Gary. What up? Hope you're having a good time today. I'm having a good time. Let me go over to Twitter. Wow, we're ahead of Alex Jones Live as far as numbers today. Isn't that crazy? Because they're crazy. They're crazy. Anyway, let me get rid of this off the screen here. Oh yes. All right, I'm gonna do this. Anyway, who's watching? We got Surrey. If you don't stop doing this repetitive stuff, I'm gonna block you. Okay, Surrey, Badmore, whatever the heck your name is. I'm going to block you. Knock this off. You're going to be gone. Okay? Don't have time for this nonsense on the chat. Hello, Steve, brother. What's going on? Being published by Trump now, does that make me a conservative Democrat? Steve, there's nothing wrong with being a conservative Democrat. The only difference between Republicans and Democrats, supposedly, was Democrats want a stronger central federalized government, and the Republicans believe in strong states' rights. That's the difference. So you can be a conservative Democrat. There's nothing wrong with it, brother. You're the kind of people that we can come together and we can agree to disagree on a lot of stuff, but at least we can come together in common sense and, you know, not think that boys can become girls and compete in girls' sports. So, Steve, welcome, man. Welcome. My father was a conservative Democrat. My mother was a conservative Republican. Let's go over to Rumbly Roo. Hello, Valentina. Hello, Dookie Barrow. What's going on, y'all? Wild Bill West. Facebook. What's going on Facebook? I'm going to go over to Facebook here. Got to refresh it. Not going to be able to get to it right now, but I will. Time for me to talk.
And a new generation of Americans have to show up, stand up, speak up, fight, get into good trouble to usher in an era of
get into good trouble. That means violence.
Progress. We went from the progress of emancipation to the backlash of Jim Crow.
Wow, he's going back to slavery.
The progress of the civil rights movement.
Dummy, you're the minority leader in the United States House of Representatives.
To the backlash of mass incarceration. The progress.
Hey, if you break the law, you got to go to jail, and that's the way it is.
Of electing Barack Obama to the backlash that has resulted in the elevation of Donald Trump.
Here is Scott Jennings' response to all of the caterwauling by the Democrats because you can't racially gerrymander anymore. You can't keep people of color on the thought plantation, dependent on government services in high crime areas with poor schools. And this is a Berlin Wall moment. The SCOTUS decision last week was a Berlin Wall moment for the inner city black community. And I have been waiting for this my entire professional life. And it is finally happening. And guess what? It's not going to mean any black people are not going to be able to vote.
In the case of Louisiana, they didn't have a choice. The Supreme Court said their maps were unconstitutional. They had to redraw it. And so what they chose to do was I think what they'll choose to do is move the House back to the fall, and they'll leave the Senate primary in place, which is actually happening right now. So I get the argument about a little bit of confusion for voters. I mean, around the edges of congressional districts, you're always going to have some areas where, one person on one side of the street, one person on the other. I live on the very western edge of a congressional district in Kentucky. In fact, if I might respectfully debate Bakari on this for a moment.
Yeah.
To me, I heard you say that people are losing representation. People are losing their voice. No voter has lost their voice at all. No one's been disenfranchised. Every voter in America before these court rulings could go cast a ballot this November, and every voter in America, white, black, or otherwise, can go cast a ballot right now. The lines may be changing, but every voter still has the same amount of...
Yeah, 100%. It's just the Democrats riling things up, riling people up, making them believe that somehow they're getting their votes taken away, using fear and intimidation to keep you on the thought plantation. That's what it's really all about. So using fear and intimidation, as Democrats have done in racially gerrymandered districts in America's inner cities that all have the same things in common. They all are generally people of color, very poor schools, poverty, dependence, high crime, broken families, and promises from the Democrat Party that never get fulfilled. Promises from the Democrat Party that never get fulfilled. Generations of young people never living to see their 30th birthday, never living to see the American dream, but being told, hey man, it's not your fault. It's not the Democrat Party's fault. It's racism and Donald Trump. It's racism and whoever. And it's all collapsing on the Democrats. And as I said, as they spin into hell, it's going to get uglier and bigger. And we need to just brush them off and give them a little shove. Hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit ReliefFactor.com today.
about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 2 of the radio program. And the live stream, by the way. The live stream is huge. Thane Rosenbaum is going to be joining us, legal analyst, law professor, talking about Israel and whatnot. It sounds like Donald Trump's kind of tired of all of this nonsense with the negotiations for peace and might unleash a little hell on him. Trump is unleashing election integrity army amid midterm panic after Susie Wiles dropped a voting bombshell. She alluded to that 2020 wasn't fair. You know why 2020 wasn't fair? Because, a lot of things happened during the 2020 election, and we weren't able to say anything about it. We were banned from criticizing the election. It's kind of weird.
A water pipe has broken in State Farm Arena. State Farm Arena is where they were counting the absentee ballots of Georgia's most populous county, and now the tabulation has stopped.
It's Allegheny, which is Pittsburgh, but also Beaver, part of our county to county, Butler and Westmoreland. They've all stopped counting for the night. They've gone to bed. They begin the process at 10 o'clock.
I mean, why would you question that election, even though it's never happened in history that anything like this happened, where all of the battleground states stopped counting votes in the middle and then woke up the next morning with all of the votes exclusively coming in for Joe Biden? I mean, why would you think that was crooked?
Tomorrow morning.
Good morning, Heather. They did have the press pause overnight. They will be back in a few short hours, expected to resume counting around 8:30 this morning.
Fulton County is now going to stop counting at 10:30 p.m. and will resume their count at...
As Brett Baer and whatnot, he never bothered to have any curiosity as a journalist after that night.
Tomorrow morning.
They basically stopped counting tonight. They're going to start counting again in a few hours. It's already tomorrow morning, right?
The election workers stopped counting those mail-in ballots at 10 o'clock. They will be back again tomorrow at 10 a.m.
And Nevada says it stopped counting the votes yesterday.
Yeah, there was no water main break or anything in Atlanta. It was all a massive scam. I can say that now. 2,000 mules. Anybody? Donald Trump raising an election integrity army to police the 2026 midterms, vowing it will be bigger and stronger than the ones he credits with delivering his 2024 victory. The announcement comes days after Susie Wiles raised election eyebrows by suggesting the country is about to learn Trump actually won states he lost in 2020. Well, no bleep, Sherlock. Now, grassroots Republicans nationwide are making sure to efforts to repeat that success by sending volunteers to silently observe voters to ensure legality at the ballot box. Remember when they, in places like Philadelphia, the election observers were kept hundreds of feet away from the ballot counting, or they were actually, they would put cardboard on the window so you couldn't watch? Yeah, it was because it was crooked as hell. That's the reason why. So... there's that. And it's kind of weird because Democrats, they had a real problem with us questioning that election, but not so much in 2016.
You can run the best campaign. You can even become the nominee. And you can have the election stolen from you.
How can you win with Russian interference, though?
That's a real thing.
Never happened in 2020.
But rightly.
Because I think he's an illegitimate president that didn't really win. So how do you fight against that in 2020?
You are absolutely right.
He's an illegitimate president in my mind.
Would you be my vice presidential candidate?
Yeah, Democrats did that for years. I got 24 minutes right there. I could go and play that. Just Democrats denying 2016 was a victory for Donald Trump. So there you go. But we were told on 2020, even before, the night before, we were told, you can't question the election results. And, obviously. Duh. We're not stupid. Supreme Court clears the way for Alabama to throw out a current rigged congressional map. Sotomayor fumes. The U.S. Supreme Court on Monday cleared the way for Alabama to throw out its current rigged congressional map. Friday, Alabama filed on Friday an emergency appeal at the Supreme Court, asking the High Court to allow it to throw out its current rigged congressional map. Alabama's request to toss out the racist gerrymandered congressional map comes after the Supreme Court last month declared Louisiana's newly drawn congressional map unconstitutional because, of racism and everything. Here's what it's meaning, by the way, all this redistricting and all of this getting rid of the gerrymandering, rigged districts around the country that benefited Democrats. In the midterms, it's going to mean that it's going to be real hard for the Democrats to regain control of the House, okay? Because thus far, with regard to redistricting wars, California is +5 Democrats, Utah +1, Texas +5 GOP, Florida +4 GOP, North Carolina +1 GOP, Missouri +1 GOP, Ohio +1 GOP, Tennessee +1 GOP. That means +6 Democrats, +14 GOP, and other states are coming, and it will be in favor of the GOP because they're getting rid of the racially gerrymandered districts that benefit Democrats for so long. Jonathan Turley was talking about what happened in Virginia. Virginia, of course, they're all butthurt because they tried to ram through a gerrymandering scheme that would have benefited the Democrats for no good reason, at all. They just did it because they wanted to take advantage of a left-leaning, crazy cat lady, socialist, ex-CIA agent, Abigail Spanberger, and of course domination in both houses by Democrats. So they just wanted to steal power in Virginia, and the state Supreme Court ruled that the referendum was null and void because of a variety of issues, including how they rammed it through illegally, and then of course they were dishonest in the actual wording of the ballot measure. And Jonathan Turley was on talking about because Virginia now the Democrats want to appeal it to the Supreme Court, and that's just stupid. They won't hear it. At least that's what Jonathan Turley and others are saying.
No, it won't. Even if it's unlikely, though, it's telling in that this whole concept of sack and pack, the Virginia Supreme Court, is based on this by any means necessary philosophy that has taken over the left. Yeah. There seems to be no institution or value that is sacred. It's all about taking that power by any...
Yeah, they want to say that they want to decrease the mandatory retirement age for the Supreme Court in the state of Virginia because everybody on the court is over 54 years old, and basically would say all of them have to resign and they would be replaced by insane leftists approved by Abigail Spanberger and her crew.
He means necessary. Now keep in mind the same voices that you just quoted, or some of them have already endorsed packing the Supreme Court. Democrats are running on this notion that if they take back power,
rather than actually looking at why they're losing, why they lost 2024, and readjusting their their party back to sanity. What they're going to do is they're going to rule us. They're going to force it through like good Marxists without representation. And it's not going to work.
They will pack the U.S. Supreme Court to create an instant liberal majority. And I debated a Harvard professor who previously said, look, we have to change the system and we'll guarantee we never lose power again. But the key to that is to take over the Supreme Court because they won't let us do any of these things. So you're seeing now quite openly this movement to take control of the courts and then push through things that are, in my view, blatantly unconstitutional.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work because we're not going to be ruled. There was a king who tried to rule us for a while, and we beat him. And we created the greatest individual economic engine of freedom and prosperity in the history of the damned world. And we haven't lost that spirit. So it's not going to work. We're not going to be ruled.
Ro Khanna say, when he's asked, how about the fact that many people thought this was unconstitutional, is saying, well, they should have just gone with the voters. So in other words, ignore whether it's lawful if the voters want it.
Yeah. Talking about the referendum in Virginia, clearly illegal in how they presented it, also in the wording of the actual referendum. But the Democrats say because they won, it's fine. So if more people vote for it than not, even if it's illegal, it's fine.
Framers had a term for that. I just wrote a book called Rage in the Republic.
So basically, if somebody said, if 54% of Democrats or 54% of the electorate said, you can murder people, then it would be perfectly fine.
And it talks about how the framers wanted to avoid mobocracy. They wanted to avoid the majority basically dismissing the law and engaging in these.
This is why they want to get rid of what the hell am I talking? Basically take away the ability. They want to make it into a democracy. What I'm trying to say.
Types of abuses. To have all of
the electoral college, dear God.
These leading politicians say, no, we should just go with whatever the majority says.
No.
That is the exact opposite of what this republic was founded on.
Yeah.
That's why we have lasted so long. That's why we're here now at our 250th anniversary.
Yeah.
We have never adopted that type of mobocracy philosophy.
Yeah. And I am, as I've told you, my goal and my strategy is overwhelm the left with joy and patriotism and faith. Because we're the first government in the history of governance, essentially, that said our rights come from God, not from man. So they can't be taken away, you see. And Turley is also optimistic as well.
No, I am worried, but I am also optimistic. You know, in my book, I talk about the rise of the new Jacobins, and some of them are people that you just quoted.
That's Democrats.
On the segment. These are people who sound awfully like, as you correctly noted, when you said they sounded more like the French Revolution. Yeah. That's exactly what they're suggesting. Mm-hmm. The French Revolution became the terror because they believed in direct democracy, and they eventually devoured themselves, and it became a bloodletting. Now, I'm not suggesting that's in the offing in the United States.
It's not going to happen because we're better armed intellectually and physically.
States, but what I am suggesting is that we have a serious crisis of faith on the 250th anniversary of our independence, including law professors who are like priests that have lost their faith but kept their frocks. I mean, we have to address it. We have to remember who we are. I mean, these are revolutionary times, but we remain a revolutionary people. This is a unique republic, and we're going to have to fight for it to keep it.
And we are. We are absolutely going to. I have no doubt. And look what happened in Virginia. We turned back the horde. They tried to do this to us. Ted Cruz was talking about the Democrat Party, and this is why the Democrat Party isn't going to win. Other than that, they're on the wrong side of history. They're on the wrong side of God and the wrong side of good.
The Democrat Party has become so extreme that they are the party of extreme left-wing, anti-border, abolish the police, transgender witches.
Yeah.
Well, like, that ain't a big populace. And they've decided, number one, when it comes to men, if you're a Democrat and the only thing you have to say about men are the words toxic masculinity, you know, I don't think being a man is toxic. I don't think being a father is toxic. I don't think being a husband is toxic.
Yeah, toxic masculinity. Men can become women. Women become birthing people. Black people can't get an ID. I mean, they've insulted everybody. I don't even know who they're trying to appeal to other than insane people, to be quite honest. And it's not going to work. Let's take a break and come back. I'm told that Deplorabella awaits us. And we're going to have Deplorabella on next on The Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know my signature phrase, don't catch the stupid. When it comes to Medicare, that's easier said than done. Medicare is overly complex with thousands of plans, hidden gotchas in the fine print, and rules nobody really explains to you. Many people just pick something and hope for the best. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. When your call with Chapter is done, you know your doctors are covered. Your prescriptions are matched, and you go from, I hope I did this right, to, I know I did. That, my friends, is peace of mind. A call with Chapter is free for my audience, and there's no pressure to sign up. Call Chapter today. Here's the number, 27 Medicare. That's 27 MEDICARE. 27 Medicare for Chapter. No pressure. What's your excuse? Call 27 Medicare and don't catch the stupid yourself. Call 27 Medicare today.
But in most places on earth, they believe that your rights come from your government and from your laws. But ours was founded on the belief that your rights come from your Creator and from God.
Come on! I'm going to be going to Rededicate 250 this weekend, Sunday on the National Mall, uniting Americans in prayer and worship as the nation celebrates its 250th birthday. And I'm not a big evangelical type. I don't like going to churches where they have rock bands and all that. I think it's an insult to my intelligence, but I do believe this is going to be pretty amazing, and we can come together, Jews, Gentiles, and whatnot, people of faith. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be incredible. Speaking of awesome and incredible, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Deplorabella. How are you, Deplorabella?
I am just fine, and I am sort of tickled by the fact that when Donald J. Trump went after DEI as cultural Marxist racism, he really ignited a fury in the hearts of those who see the world through the prism of pigment. Take that 23-year-old Karen in New York, a poster child for suicidal empathy, who said she would not be responsible for pressing charges against the black man who assaulted her. So the next day, when he is let out of jail, he murdered a white man. So she was not responsible for putting a black recidivist in jail, but she is responsible for putting a white citizen in his grave prematurely. Take the case in near Harvard, where there is no sign of common sense, where a black man with a long rap sheet that included trying to kill a cop unloaded 50 rounds on pedestrians and drivers. Nobody, including Governor Maura Healey, has taken the time to thank the legally armed man who assisted a trooper in bringing this guy down and stopping his onslaught. And no doubt he was out of jail because other DEI and DEI believing prosecutors and people in the system in Massachusetts were responsible for putting him out on the street. You just have to look at this man, Tyler Brown, and his misshapen skull to see that he is the epitome of a mindless, inane antipathy to the society, that he is an enemy within. Take Virginia. It's amazing, Rob. For many years since the Civil Rights Movement, blacks have been able to what? Vote, run for office, and be elected.
Yes.
But that wasn't enough. They distorted the civil rights laws, which fortunately SCOTUS reversed, to say that blacks should be guaranteed positions in the House and in the Senate. If you take a look at some of the DEI candidates, and they include white women, who now infest our Congress, you see an assortment of idiots. They are historically amnesiac. They are database challenged. Yes. They are intellect incapacitated. They are morons. And you have these people in Virginia now insisting that unless they can be guaranteed seats, we are a racist country. Well, you know what? Call me racist. Yeah. Because it is racist to assume that being black is a privilege that entitles you to serve in Congress. No. Being black is no more wonderful or terrible than being born white. It is a trait which you do not determine for yourself. What you do choose for yourself is how you behave as a human being. Yes. And unfortunately, the whites, and isn't it amazing that the white women who can still have positions of power in the Democratic Party are the total lackeys, sycophants, apologists, bootlickers. I could go on, but you get the idea. For the black and minority idiots with whom they serve. So whether it's Maura Healey in Massachusetts, or the governors of New Jersey or Virginia, they get in because they campaign as moderates, but they reign, not just rule, they reign as radicals. Yeah. And they do everything that violates the promises they made because they are there to betray us. And isn't it funny, speaking of Marxism and class warfare and racism, that in Washington state, they unfortunately mailed their plan to the Senate by mistake, and it unveiled the fact that they were not only going to tax people in excess of $1 million at 9.9%, but they were going to tax everyone at that heightened rate. Yep. And this has been the Democratic pattern. every time they've talked about reform, tax reform and tax simplification, hold on to your wallet, baby, because they're coming for every penny you ever earned.
It's because you know what they said classically. Wasn't it Thatcher said that the reason why socialism fails, they run out of other people's money, and it's happening in Seattle and it's happening in New York and all of that. I want to mention something because we have to run out because I could give you the rest of the show. I know I could give you the rest of the show. I know how you roll, girl. I know how you roll. But you, of course, have a glorious Substack under Deplorabella. I want to congratulate you. I understand your son Scott is going to be performing the national anthem at the Preakness this weekend.
That is correct. He will be singing the anthem a cappella, as he has done so many times for military events. We are extremely proud. We love hearing him sing, and we love the fact that he's given his God-given gift, which is his voice, to the edification of his country, to spreading patriotism, to thanking the military in as many ways as he possibly can.
Well, God gave you a voice, too. It just happens to be a lot louder than your son's.
I don't know about louder, maybe more raucous, maybe.
No, great
Maybe
stuff. And you're right about the insane Karens of the left. They are essentially the women who fall in love with death row inmates. They are. They are. That's who they're nuts.
They're the animals who, in defiance of social Darwinism and survival of the fittest, would see a lion coming and make noise to indicate, here I am, come and rip my throat out.
It's suicidal empathy. You're 1,000 million% right, and I'm glad it's being exposed. Deplorabella, God bless you. It's so good to hear you. And make sure to go to Substack at Deplorabella. I understand CBM's doing their big Patreon event at the end of the summer. I will give you the stage. You better be ready to talk. I know you will. I know you will.
I'm always ready to follow you, Rob, wherever you go.
Well, you lead, baby. Have a glorious day. God bless you. We'll talk again soon. Let's take a break and come back. Thane Rosenbaum joins us on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a Ghost Bed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime. In New York City, Zoran Mandami is doing an estate tax of up to 50%. That's what he's pushing for. For families leaving behind a life's earnings, that's devastating. What are you leaving for your family? Do you have life insurance? I do, because I want my kids to be able to live a great life, pay off debt, maybe have it a little easier than I did. You can protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get up to $3 million in coverage in as little as 10 minutes by going to ethos.com/Carson. Application times may vary, rates may vary, but protection is there for you. If you get life insurance through Ethos, it'll give you peace of mind in case something happens. Ethos helps provide financial security for your family. Ethos helps protect them in this frequently unpredictable world. There's no medical exam, just answer a few health questions online. Get a rate in as little as 10 minutes. Get the ball rolling today by going to ethos.com/Carson. That's ethos.com/Carson. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat-wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. Or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General, chicken wings expired yesterday. We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General, chicken wings expired yesterday.
Chaos breaking out after another violent and hateful anti-Israel protest near a New York City synagogue. Dramatic video shows young Jewish people confronting a mob of masked agitators who scream back at them. Now, some of those agitators waved Hezbollah and Hamas signs and chanted slogans like Free Palestine. And Monday's chaos in Brooklyn follows a similar protest in Manhattan last week.
Now, this is not protected speech, by the way. This is terror. This is why I came up with the expression homeboys, hillbillies, and Hebrews. Sooner or later, if the authorities aren't going to do something, homeboys, hillbillies, and Hebrews are going to have to take care of business, as it were. It is absurd. It is unacceptable. It is terrorism, as it was in Nazi Germany pre-World War II, and it will be put down like a rabid dog. Here to talk about this and other things, legal analyst, law professor Thane Rosenbaum. How are you, my friend?
Hey, buddy. It's good hearing your voice. You know, the difference is I'm not sure it'll be taken care of. I live here. The mayor thinks this is great. He thinks that this is perfectly acceptable free speech and that Israel has no right to exist, and therefore all Jews are responsible for its illegitimacy, and that you should shout them down, chase them with masks. He doesn't condemn this. He doesn't say to the police, arrest people. He doesn't care. He actually thinks this is good. And his base loves it. The people that voted for him are the same people that vote for AOC. They're the same people that vote for Letitia James. This state is, our governor. Our governor doesn't care about this. She loves this. So unless we get Hebrews, what is it again?
Homeboys, hillbillies, and Hebrews.
Yeah, I know. I love that.
We're going to have to bring some bikers in there. Going to have to bring some ex-military in there. And we're going to have to deliver a beatdown. And it'll be a defense. It's a defensive beatdown, but a damn beatdown's going to happen because we aren't going to allow this to fester and grow. It's going to have to stop sooner or later, Thane. I'm not going to take this, and I don't think most people in America are going to put up with this nonsense.
And it's also this, Rob, which your Newsmax and radio listeners should think about. It starts with the Jews, but it never ends with the Jews. People in this rioting today were carrying Hezbollah flags, right? In Dearborn, Michigan, they burn American flags and say "Death to America." This is an attempted coup by Islamists in the United States. We're seeing this in blue cities. We're seeing this on university campuses. And, they're starting with Israel and then going after Jews who they don't, when they go after Jews in the United States, they don't ask them, do you support Israel? This isn't about Israel. This is anti-Semitism. They're not saying, how do you feel about, what happened in the war? They're just going after Jews. If you look at the tape, they're chasing Jews down the streets. This is a modern-day pogrom. The difference is these guys are such cowards, they wear masks.
Yes.
In a normal pogrom, you don't wear a mask. You just do your thing. So what I just think is important to remember is, if you don't think this affects you as an American citizen, you're wrong. Because it's not just a stain on our democracy, but you're next.
Well, I heard Victor Davis Hanson speaking the other day about when a party or a movement becomes anti-Semitic, it is signaling the death throes of that movement. And I believe that. I think that the Democrat Party, at least the establishment Democrat Party, those in charge of the Democrat Party right now are in their death throes. And they are increasingly violent. They are increasingly unhinged. I know in my heart that America is not anti-Semitic. I know that the anti-Semitism movement that took place after the October the 7th, Holocaust was not organic. It was bought and paid for by friends of this. It was paid by Neville Singh. It was paid by George Soros, among others. And it is not organic. And the American people are not anti-Semitic. That said, there certainly are hotbeds of it. We certainly are seeing shades of what has happened in Europe happen. But I'm optimistic that we people of faith and we patriotic people will defeat it. I know it's very frightening right now, though. I can't imagine what it's like to be a Jew in New York City right now, Thane Rosenbaum.
I had to get home to be on the Rob Carson show. I was in just about 40 minutes ago. And I'm now more tentative. I'm older, than I had been. Yeah. But I am now, more tentative in subways, what neighborhoods I'm going at night. This reminds me, it's ironic, well, I was born in this city. My parents left because of crime. In the 1960s, crime was rampant throughout New York City, so we left. I moved back to go to graduate school in the early 80s, and I've been back here ever since. But it's since, in the ensuing 46 years, nearly 50 years, there's nothing like this.
I know.
This is just utter madness, and the fact that people are okay with it, and the reason they're okay with it is because they identify it as part of the progressive movement. It's anti-free speech. It's illiberal. You have to do it my way or no way. It's pro-trans, pro-LGBTQ. It's what they call intersectional.
It's 1979 Tehran.
Yeah, exactly. We're all part of the same struggle against the man, or against hierarchies, or against white people.
But the Islamists and Zoran Mandami is number one. I said this when he was being elected. Number one, he's an Islamist. And he uses the left. This is why he's backing off all of his promises. In the next segment, I will share. Everybody's going to get your property taxes raised in New York. It's already out the window. The promise is out the window. The middle class is going to get.
Well, no, you're saying that Ken Griffith is not alone. You don't have to be a billionaire.
No.
That everyone is going to get hit.
Yeah.
And I think you're right.
Oh, I know I'm right, because this is what they do. Islamists move into power. They use the useful idiots to get them into power, and then they annihilate them. I'm not going to say that's going to happen, but they will forget all of them.
But they use. It's almost brilliant. I'm sorry, Oh, no. They used our democracy against us, right? They said, we don't come from a world of democracies. We come from a world of theocracies. But you're so stupid and gullible, and you have such white guilt.
Yes.
You're plagued by such white guilt that we will come in and we will go to your universities and we will get elected. We've got a guy in Michigan that's going to end up being an Islamist, is going to be the next United States Senator. Mm-hmm. This is not just a few Muslim majority cities in America. We're seeing more and more of this. The Squad looked like a fringe movement with Bernie Sanders, but they are growing, and Mondami is part of their strategy. They see that as a big coup. The largest city in America has an Islamist mayor, and it happens to also have the largest number of Jews in any city outside of Israel. And look what we're able to accomplish.
Let me ask you this, because
we're chasing Jews down the street.
What about hiding your signs that you're a Jew? What about the Hasidic Jews that wear the traditional hair and hats and the black outfits? Yeah. What about you wearing a yarmulke? Are you afraid to wear that?
Forget it. I wouldn't. Wow. I wouldn't because I know in this city it's a target. And let me just say, we're coming late to this knowledge. If you spoke to the Hasidic people, they say it's been years already that this has happened, that they're being attacked by people of color in their religious areas of Brooklyn.
Yeah. I want to cover a little bit more on this. CNN has got a new report on the systematic rape and sexual violence of the October the 7th attack on Israel. At least they're sharing this, and it was... I'm going to share a little bit of this on the other side of the break. We need to remember, it took the left 2 days to forget the second Holocaust. It took years to deny the first. It took days to deny the second. We're going to get into that also. Zohran Mamdani's promise on not raising taxes on the middle class, already out the window, already gone. We will share that on the other side of the break with Thane Rosenbaum. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
County.
We got more with Thane Rosenbaum coming up in a second. When there are supply constraints on commodities, prices go up. You saw this with gas, with oil on the Strait of Hormuz and all of that, and we understand that, There's another commodity that is affected by market supply constraints. That's gold, because you can only mine so much gold. I see that gold is giving you a nice even. It's about $4,600 an ounce right now, which is a good time for you to consider, I don't know, transferring that IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. And Birch is going to give you a real opportunity to do that. Now through May 29th, Birch Gold is going to give first-time gold buyers a rebate up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. How cool would that be, huh? For details and free information, no obligación, on diversifying into gold, text Rob to the number 98989. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k, again, into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. I've got mine. I'm just letting it ride. I'm not going to retire for about another decade, so I'm letting it ride, baby, and then eventually I'll sell. Text Rob to the number 989898 to see if you qualify for a first-time gold buyer rebate up to $10,000. Zoran Mondami already canceling his promise not to raise taxes on the middle class.
For those who have watched budget after budget, it is tempting to assume that we are engaging in the same dance as our predecessors. Let me assure you, nothing about this is typical.
Oh, no, it's the same.
That's why our solutions won't be either.
Yeah.
There are two paths to bridge this gap. The first is the most sustainable and the fairest path.
What's that?
This is the path of ending the drain on our city and raising taxes on the richest New Yorkers and the most profitable corporations.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
The onus for resolving this crisis should not be placed on the backs of working and middle-class New Yorkers. If we do not fix this structural imbalance and do not heed the calls of New Yorkers to raise taxes on the wealthy, this crisis will not disappear. It will simply return, year after year.
It's a crisis. He knew it was a crisis when he was being elected. He knew exactly what he was going to do. He made a lot of promises he wasn't going to keep. The budget for the city of New York is larger than the budget for the whole damn state of Florida. It would be easy to solve if they cut the damn New York City budget by about, a third to a half. I think it'd be completely fine if he got rid of a lot of nonsense. But he knew exactly what he was doing. He got into office, and he had no intention of keeping his promises on anything. Zoran Mondami. Thane Rosenbaum, your thoughts on the possibility of an almost 10% increase in your property taxes because Zoran Mondami lied?
Well, Rob, I don't think he's going to be able to get rid of the nonsense because the people that voted for him want the nonsense.
Yeah.
They're not going to reduce the budget by the very things that his base wants. So, they're not going to. Yes, it's really ridiculous that our city has such a high municipal finance problem, but it's largely funded by rich people.
Yeah.
So I don't know who he thinks pays these bills. Broadway, better restaurants, cleaner streets. The things that draw people to this city are paid for by corporations and by wealthy people who both donate and pay city taxes. So, if you're gonna only tax the rich, as we've seen, Ken Griffith is now leaving. Remember, you saw that disgraceful.
Yeah.
Mondami actually was standing outside of Griffith's penthouse and making fun of one of the guys that pays more taxes than anyone else, who employs so many people, and he was planning on building a new building in New York. You know what he said? Forget it. I'm not doing it.
It's going to Miami.
But let's talk, right, but think about what's the thinking there, right? What kind of a demented mayor would actually do a commercial in front of the building of one of his wealthiest constituents to make fun of him, right?
And dox him.
And dox him. And right, exactly. Here's where he lives, and he's on the top floor. He's got a $250 million, and that's ridiculous, and we're going to tax him. And he's also going to move.
Yeah.
He's going to move. He's going to take jobs with him. He's going to take businesses with him. And so, we've lived, and this has gone on for a number of years, in a very polarized society. You're either an oppressor or you're being oppressed. You're white or black. You're a person of color. You're either anti-queer. This whole intersectional woke nonsense has pitted Americans against Americans. So this works for progressives. This is how they work.
So it's going to collapse on him. Thane, it's going to collapse on New York. It's going to.
Why else would a mayor do that? Why would he go after a guy that's about to build a building in New York.
Because he's a he's a radical ideologue who's never had an academic, who's never had a damned job in his damned life, and it's gonna collapse on it. Are you close to pulling the plug on getting out of New York, or do you think it's gonna? Because honestly, if it's as bad as you say it's gonna be, and you don't see the future, why are you still staying there?
I don't know. I have a number of different jobs, and they all seem to need me here. Even with stuff that can be done at home, like my appearances on the Rob Carson show, but I'm reaching a time and an age and a level of discomfort.
Yeah.
And also, I just don't want to support what's going on here. I don't want to be part of it. No. I'm paying taxes for something I don't believe in anymore.
I've got a loft. I've got a loft.
Yeah, I bet you live in a great place. I already assumed I have a couple nights in the Carson house. I've always assumed, worst comes to worst, I can get a weekend, maybe.
Listen, I say overwhelm the left with joy and patriotism and faith, and I think it's coming, and I am sorry for the bull ass that you're dealing with in New York. It ultimately is going to fall. It ultimately is going to fall. Go ahead.
Can I just say another really good Rob Carson instinct insight that was just given? Everything that we've just talked about is really anti-American.
Yeah.
Everything. Like, everything is anti-American, and it's appallingly unpatriotic. And that is the one thing that makes this split. That's why death to America is being shouted now in the United States. Not just in Iran.
We're in the battle of good and evil thing. This is it.
Yeah,
this is what is pretend. There's no four horsemen. There's no four horsemen. It's not going to be like you think it is. But I'm going to tell you, they are on the wrong side of good and the wrong side of God, and they're going to lose. They are going to lose, brother. They are.
Right.
I know it from my depths of my soul.
I want you to be right. I'm rooting for everything you've said.
God bless you. All right,
buddy.
We'll talk again soon.
Thanks,
all right,
Rob.
let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. It's not just going to happen. We're going to have to fight. We're going to have to stand up for our Jewish brothers and sisters. We're going to have to stand up for them. We're going to have to fight. We're going to have to protect them, defensively protect them. So we cannot become 1939 Germany. That's it. It's just not going to happen. Beat down is coming. Beat down is coming. That's all I got to say. Beat down is coming. It's going to have to come. Trust me, I know my family. We are a family of veterans, of people who've my dad and his brothers fought in World War II, and we're quite simply not going to put up with this nonsense. There you go. Who's talking? Dookie Bear. Wild Bill West. What's going on over there? NC controlled opposition. I don't know what that is, but if it's nonsense and whatnot, we will take you off the chat. We're not here to promote other things, and we are here to have a decent conversation with the people who are already here, who are fans of the program. There you go. That's what we do here. If you're here to load up the chat with a bunch of nonsense, then you will be taken off the chat quite quickly. I have the power to do that. I have the power of Grayskull. All right. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to play something here. All right. We got another hour of the show right ahead. Leslie Lady Hawk, what do you think of that? When is the second coming? I don't know about Christ coming, but we're in the battle. We're in the battle. We are. I think we need to hear this. One of my many theme songs about coming together to save America.
Homeboys, hillbillies, and Hebrews are Rob Carson's friends.
Hell yeah. Hispanics, handgun owners, homemakers.
Better believe that they'll be friends to the end.
Patriotic Americans coming together.
A new coalition to promote freedom. They're all about liberty. The perfect trio to combat the left and look out for you and me.
Absolutely.
Mamas, please let your babies grow up to be homeboys.
Why the heck not?
Hillbillies and Hebrews is who you should raise. You'll receive nothing but absolute praise.
100%. Welcome to the
homeboys, hillbillies,
Come
and
on.
Hebrews are saving this country. They love this land and they'll give you a hand. We need to give them our thanks.
Yep, 100%.
Homeboys, hillbillies, and Hebrews are friends to this nation. They've got our back when we're under attack. Homeboys, hillbillies, Hebrews.
Come on now. I believe it. I believe it in my heart. I really, really do. And we're seeing the collapse of the Democrat Party and their plan and their caterwauling and their screeching. You're seeing Zoran Mandami becoming increasingly desperate. He's realizing that the millionaires tax isn't going to do anything. The billionaires tax isn't going to do anything. On the other side of the break, I have some very funny audio from Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson. And they passed this giant payroll tax, and now Amazon and everybody's leaving the city. And it's, I mean, they're going down in flames too, just like the socialist paradise of Zoran Mandami. And then I find out about a week or two ago that she got a $10,000 allowance from her for mom and dad last year. So she's a woman child. They gave the keys to the school bus to a toddler like they did with New York City, and it's not going to end well for them. It's not going to end well for them because they have no life experience, no business experience, no common sense, and they are academics who've never done anything in their lives to get where they are. So it's going to fail. I have no doubt whatsoever that common sense is going to prevail, that good is going to prevail. Overwhelm them with joy, faith, and patriotism. And if we need to, when we have to kick their butts, we'll do that too. All right? Let's do a break and come back. We got one more hour of the show. Doug Burns coming up on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit ReliefFactor.com today.
and now...
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Hour number 3 of the Rob Carson Show. Man, the first two were pretty fun, huh? Had Thane Rosenbaum on, and what else? We had, Senator Bryce Reeves on from Virginia on. It was a lot of fun. And then, of course, all of the sundry commentary and comedy associated in between. So if you like the podcast, today's going to be white hot. Just go to your usual podcast platforms and look up Rob Carson Show. There you go. It's that easy on Spotify. There's a little bell. I guess you ding the bell and subscribe and all of that stuff. So, and then, of course, you get the video podcast, which is available on Newsmax social media. 3 hours of this face. I'm looking at you right now. I know, right? Yeah, especially you ladies. I know. This is why you guys watch an hour and 39 minutes a day on average. Did you know that? You watch an hour and 39 minutes. You know how many TV stations or networks would love to have people watch for an hour and 39 minutes? I mean, it's unheard of. So anyway, it's because we try to do things a little different here. We try to stay ahead, leading edge opinion and all that, and use some comedy to make a point. This today, I guess, Pete Hegseth pummels Chris Murphy for leaking classified information. I got to hear this. I haven't had a chance to listen. I'm just looking at my different timelines here.
Of their missile capacity had been destroyed. This public report says it's only 30%. Can you give us an answer as to what the real number is?
I mean, I would answer the same way as the chairman.
Not talking to this committee about the damage assessment?
Not validating leaked information that could be wrong or not wrong. Why would I validate what people may leak or not leak? This is not a classified setting. We don't talk about those things. And we like to talk about them on TV. We don't talk about them here.
Ooh, wow, there you go. A little mic drop there from the Secretary of War. Secretary of War, what is it good for? Absolutely kicking Iran's butt. How about that? That's pretty cool. Let's see. We got some new Harry Inton here. New CNN poll should serve as a big-time reality check for Democrats. Let's check it out.
But I think this poll serves as a big-time reality check for Democrats, and that is, it ain't over yet, especially with the redistricting when we look ahead to the 2026 race.
He's talking about the midterms. Democrats think they're going to win just because it's the midterms, and Donald Trump is in office, and I have been saying, how long? Pretty much since Donald Trump was elected, the Democrat Party, it will be very hard for them to win the midterms, and I don't think they're going to because they suck.
Congress, you would have thought that the Democrats' lead would expand on the generic congressional ballot. It didn't happen. Look, in March, Democrats were up by 6 points. Look at this now. Democrats are up by 3 points.
Which means that Republicans are ahead by 7.
And I want you to note the yellow lettering. No clear leader. It is within the margin of error. So despite all of the talk about Donald Trump's unpopular...
The gas prices, the grocery prices. Oh, wait, they were really high when Joe Biden was president.
The fact is, Republicans very much remain in the game when it comes...
Of course we do. It's ridiculous to think otherwise because the Democrat Party is nothing but darkness and evil. So there's that. I found this story from 2012. You know, the Democrats they just beat or hear their heads rattle, as my dad used to say. They biatch to hear their heads rattle. And they hate the new ballroom, even though Jackie O wanted a ballroom when she was there. John Kennedy used every room as a ballroom. So did Bill Clinton. That said, they've been wanting a ballroom forever. They wanted an Arc de Triomphe forever here in Washington, D.C. They've been talking about cleaning up the reflecting pool, and Barack Obama supposedly did it in 2012. $30 million to clean up the reflecting pool. Donald Trump's doing it in 3 weeks. Democrats are screeching, it's going to be unnaturally blue. It's going to be blah, 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 blah. It's $2 million. They had a proposal in front of them. $300 million in 3 years to do the reflecting pool. And Donald Trump's going to do it in 3 weeks. It's going to be done. Might even be done this weekend. I don't even know. But here is a report from CNN in 2012 on Barack Obama's faceplant. Absolute fail.
There's plenty to take pictures of in downtown Washington, D.C. The Lincoln Memorial, the World War II Memorial, and then there's this. Folks snapping photos of the reflecting pool.
It's really sludgy up this end.
And what's in it?
It's disgusting. It's not right.
Algae.
It's like, smells like wet dog down here, you know. When my dog came home from a stream, he always smelled like this, so it's gross.
The Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool reopened at the end of August to great fanfare after a $34 million renovation that lasted nearly 2 years. But less than a month later, the famous pool of water is full of algae. Algae are simple organisms that thrive in areas where there is heat and sunlight. You have plenty of that here.
The water may not look great, but it doesn't pose a health or safety hazard. It's really just
ugly.
The yuck factor. If it's sunny, if it's...
Why just spend $34 million? It did nothing. That's a metaphor for the Democrat Party. Duh. It's so stupid. Ridiculous. Wham, wham, wham. B word till your head rattles. Did you hear about this Eileen Wang? Arcadia, California mayor accused of being a Chinese foreign agent. That means a spy, by the way. It means that she is a spy. And she was elected as the mayor of Arcadia. Here's the news report about the spy.
Acting as an illegal agent of China, Eileen Wang has agreed to plead guilty, according to officials. Matt Finn has more. He's live in L.A. Matt?
Sandra, the feds say that mayor here in California operated a bogus website that pretended to be a news source for the Chinese American community, but instead...
Yeah, they said things like, oh no, China isn't committing, isn't enslaving people like the Uyghurs, when they are.
Promoted propaganda on behalf of China. The federal plea agreement says Eileen Wang took directives from the People's Republic of China on what to post on the fake website between 2000 and 2022 before she became a council member and ultimately mayor of...
Yeah, she was a Chinese, effectively, I guess you could say a spy, but certainly a propagandist. She posted pro-China policies as mayor. The Department of Justice states the conduct took place after she became mayor. The magistrate ordered a $25,000 bond for her surrender of all of her passports and travel documents. They'll try to get her out of here. They'll try to order Chinese takeout. They will. But for now, it looks like Arcadia's Wang has been cut off. A little. Yeah, I've been sitting on that punchline for all morning. In a statement, Wang's attorney, Wang, whatever the hell, Brian L. Sun and Jason Leong said she apologizes and is sorry for the mistakes that she has made in her married life, because she was married to this guy who was a Chinese propagandist. From late 2020 through 2022, Wang worked with young Mike Sun, her former fiancé, to run a website called U.S. News Center that branded itself as a news source for Chinese Americans, according to the plea agreement unsealed on Monday. And basically, yeah, she propagandized for the Chinese Communist Party and said things like, there is no genocide in Yangyang. There is no such thing as forced labor in any production activity, including cotton production. Spreading such rumor is to defame China. That she said, and then listen to this. She also said, "Thank you, leader," in a note after being complimented for a post that was viewed 15,000 times. She said that to, I guess, Xi Jinping. "Thank you, leader." Wang posted the article on her website and responded to the Chinese government official with a link to the article, which I just referred to. There's no forced labor and all that. She said, "So fast, thank you, everyone." She also included, "Me love you long time," just there before she said, "Thank you, leader." There you go. Anyway, so Wang's attorney stressed in their statement that the conduct underlying the information and the agreement with the government relates solely to Mrs. Wang's personal life. Now, she's a Chinese propagandist. And I want you to, this is real. This is her ad for re-election. I want you to tell me if you could possibly tell that maybe she might, I don't know, maybe some red flags, literally like red flags with yellow stars, should have been raised.
我是王爱玲，我是2022年 Arcadia 第3区市议员候选人，我将致力于为全体市民争取权益，努力提高企业信心，平衡预算，打击犯罪，不遗余力。请在11月8日投我一票，支持王爱玲竞选 Arcadia 第3区市议员。谢谢大家。Hello everyone, my name is Eileen Wang. I'm running Arcadia City Council District 3. Public safety, transportation, homeless issue, all are my priority. Please support and vote me on November 8th. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Thank you, dear leader. No word on whether Eric Schwalwell actually slept with her. Yeah, so she received and executed directives from the People's Republic of China government officials to post pro-PRC content on the website. Democrats do this for free. They do this for what the hell? They'll just do it for free. Kind of crazy. Wong wanted to circulate an article about the Chinese and Russian ambassador asking for Americans to respect the PRC's democratic rights, among other things. Yeah, she did Chinese propaganda, just like the Democrat Party, which explains why she was elected and who probably voted for her and supported her. On the way, got some funny stuff out of Seattle with this Katie Wilson, who is Veruca Salt. She is Veruca Salt. That's coming up on the other side of the break. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. If you are on Medicare or about to be, you could be overpaying right now and never know it. Here's why. Millions of seniors are in a plan that doesn't fit their needs. Because Medicare is complicated, many brokers just steer people into plans that pay them the most. That's absurd. That is so absurd, I decided to write a little slogan for it. Medicare sure ain't fair, and choosing a plan is a bear. Pick a plan with a broker if you dare, and you might end up with a scare. Okay, listen, it's a little rough. You need to know about Chapter. They're the only national advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. With Chapter, you'll see what a plan actually costs when you need it, not just the $0 some plans advertise. Your doctors are covered and your prescriptions are too. You'll have confidence you have the coverage you need. A call with Chapter is free, takes about 20 minutes. If you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, call 27 Medicare. Again, that's 27 MEDICARE. Call 27 Medicare today.
Deported. 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 Get them out. Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get the hell out of here. Deported. Deported.
Some voodoo on you.
Voodoo? Come on. Sorry, I just got to absorb this. Tom Morello doing Voodoo Child. It's just so good. Oh my gosh. Phenomenal. Crank it up. Here we go. I've been listening to some really good music lately. I discovered a young woman named Avery Anna, and she is a guitar aficionado, and she does a live version of No More Tears by Ozzy Osbourne this weekend. I was listening to it, and I'd blow my head off. Avery Anna. My daughter's name is Avery, by the way. And then I found a band named Dr. Funk. Look up, if you get Dr. Funk Roadrunner Live. It will blow your head off. I know it's a lot to think about, but anyway, I add all my own bumper music because I love music. And I don't just love rock. I love all sorts of music. I love music, any kind of music. And then all of a sudden, Commodore Sail On will come on. And I'm going with that. And I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden, I got some gospel song going. I just love it all. Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson is a child. She's an adult child. She got $10,000 from her parents last year because she's a loser, failure, adult child. This is Alex Marlowe talking with Rob Schmidt last week about the adult child mayor of Seattle who was elected by other children. It's somewhere between the Lord of the Flies and Animal Farm. That's kind of what we got going on in New York City and in Seattle. Here's Alex Marlowe from Breitbart.
Board. Socialism has failed everywhere, but its flaws are exposed much faster in free countries like the United States, where individuals and businesses can simply leave for more welcoming jurisdictions. The 43-year-old Wilson, who received a $10,000 allowance from her parents last year, is defiant about the consequences of her antagonism towards successful people.
Okay, it's like giving a kid from the daycare center the license to the daycare center. This woman has no practical experience, no intelligence. She's a moron. People are leaving left and right. Seattle Channel asked about businesses leaving Seattle, and she said she was really proud of passing a payroll tax, which actually caused Amazon to move out of the city. And here is this child, this woman child, Katie Wilson, now saying that as these businesses are leaving, all other taxes are on the table, meaning that everybody's a middle class, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're going to get taxed. This is what they're doing in New York. New Yorkers are going to get a 10% property tax increase across the board because there aren't enough taxes from billionaires to handle all the bull crap that they're trying to pass, all the socialistic nonsense. That is going to fail. The great thing, it's going to fail. The problem is the damage it's going to do.
On the ballot for people to say tax the rich, I think there are some businesses that are saying, wait a minute, and maybe they're speaking with their pocketbooks, moving out of here, things of that nature. How do you respond to that piece?
So I'm really proud of the work that I did and that Allie did and that many others did to pass the job.
Oh my God, the only job that I ever had in my life was babysitting, and now I'm the mayor. I just can't even believe it.
Start payroll expense tax back in 2020.
I would not have her watch my children.
As Director Panucci mentioned,
Yes.
without that major progressive revenue source, which, yes, is a tax on
a major progressive revenue source,
large corporations, with a high-paid workforce,
and they're leaving.
We would have been in a world of hurt during the pandemic, and this is also what has been floating the city budget. Basically.
That tax on the payroll was what was floating the budget, and now that these businesses are moving out, who are they going to turn to get the revenue?
Basically, for the last 5 years. So I'm really proud of that work. We're going to be taking into account, right? And when we look,
you shouldn't be proud of anything. Seattle sucks now because of people like you.
At our revenue options, yes, one option is to dial up Jumpstart, right? And no options are off the table because we don't have any great options, right? There are options, and we are, our team is hard at work studying those options. I think capital gains tax is absolutely on the table.
It's never going to be enough. KOMO, Como in Seattle did a recent piece on her because her handlers are protecting her from the media because she's such a freaking moron.
Seattle's mayor is declining further comment about a series of viral moments that have
They're doing the same way with Wes Moore, the governor of the state of Maryland. They're hiding him from the media because he took a $3 billion surplus, made it into a $2 billion deficit, destroying the state of Maryland, which was on its way to destruction anyway, thanks to Democrats.
Shadowed any sort of policy discussion and raised new concerns about her leadership. The incidents have garnered national headlines from coast to coast and sparked questions about who is running the city. Como senior reporter Chris Daniels is live from Seattle to explain tonight. Chris.
Yeah, Molly, Seattle's mayor was at an event last week that was interrupted by gunfire, and Katie Wilson was rushed to safety. We did attempt to ask her a rather straightforward question about public policy when it comes to surveillance cameras, but we were interrupted by her staff. It was the third in a series of events that leads some to wonder whether these verbal missteps will have other impacts for the city.
They're protecting her because she's an idiot. I'm not kidding. She's not a smart person. She's an adult female child who got $10,000 from her parents last year to help pay for childcare. And she's the mayor.
Does that change it? Does that change your perspective
let's
at
keep
all?
It on
let's keep it on.
Let's keep it on the topic.
That straightforward public policy question of Seattle's Mayor Katie Wilson.
I'm sorry, I specifically said to keep it on topic today.
Is interrupted by a junior city staffer.
Want to have answers? Maybe we can set up a different time for that.
But the mayor's a busy person.
I understand. Maybe we can...
You can only ask her certain questions. This is a little thing I found of her when she was running for mayor, her little wish list. Listen to this.
There's an awful lot that I want to accomplish as mayor.
Listen.
I want everyone in this great city of ours to have a roof over their head. I want universal child care and free K-8 summer care. I want world-class mass transit. I want great, safe public spaces where kids can run around with abandon. I want stable, affordable housing for renters. I want social housing. I want much more land and wealth to be owned and stewarded by communities instead of corporations. I want a robust economy with thriving small businesses.
Well, you certainly killed that, and I mentioned when she said that, she reminded me a lot of this.
I want a party with roomfuls of laughter, 10,000 tons of ice cream, and if I don't get the things I am after,
I'm going to raise taxes on everybody.
I'm going to scream.
Oh yeah, and then scream, yeah. Katie Porter.
I want the works. I want the whole works.
Free bus.
Presents and prizes and sweets and surprises of all shapes and sizes. And now,
free groceries.
Don't care how. I want it now.
Free diapers.
Don't care how. I want it now.
And that's exactly where she's going. Right into the pits of hell, because it's going to fail, because she's a child. She's a child given the keys to the bus, just like Moron Zamkami in New York. Whoa. I love it. I love it. And we can just watch. Just get some popcorn and watch this. It's fantastic. Commodities go up when there are restraints on supply. We know this with oil in the Strait of Hormuz. We saw the price of gas going up. I get it. I understand. Same thing goes with gold. It's limited. You can't print it. Right now, Birch Gold is giving you an opportunity, though, to invest in gold. If you've been thinking about it forever, I know you've been thinking about it because I talk about it every day. Birch Gold, and I talk about them every day because I have money with Birch Gold. Right now, if you're a first-time gold buyer through May 29th, Birch Gold is giving you a rebate up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. Tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. How does that sound? Now's the time to do it. Get a little something back from Birch Gold. All you got to do is text my name, Rob, to 989898 for information with no obligation at all. Birch Gold, up to $10,000 rebate with qualifying purchase from Birch Gold through the end of this month. It's already the 12th. So text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold on the way. Doug Burns talking about Virginia, talking about gerrymandering, talking about John Brennan saying there are a lot of deep staters trying to take Donald Trump down. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a Ghost Bed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat-wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com, or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor. In New York City, Zoran Mandami is doing an estate tax of up to 50%. That's what he's pushing for. For families leaving behind a life's earnings, that's devastating. What are you leaving for your family? Do you have life insurance? I do, because I want my kids to be able to live a great life, pay off debt, maybe have it a little easier than I did. You can protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get up to $3 million in coverage in as little as 10 minutes by going to ethos.com/Carson. Application times may vary, rates may vary, but protection is there for you. If you get life insurance through Ethos, it'll give you peace of mind in case something happens. Ethos helps provide financial security for your family. Ethos helps protect them in this frequently unpredictable world. There's no medical exam, just answer a few health questions online. Get a rate in as little as 10 minutes. Get the ball rolling today by going to ethos.com/Carson. That's ethos.com/Carson.
There's a better chance of me sprouting wings and flying out of that window over there than the United States Supreme Court dealing with this in any way, because this is a state Supreme Court ruling on a state constitution. The U.S. Supreme Court doesn't deal with these kinds of things, number one. Number two, the freak out in Virginia has been so extreme. You even have Democrats over there who are saying they want to effectively politically decapitate the entire Virginia Supreme Court by putting an age limit of 54 so they can get rid of every existing justice and install people who will promise to rule a certain way on a certain case. You know, they went from, oh, this is just a temporary map thing to let's burn down the entire Virginia Supreme Court in about 2 seconds over there in Virginia. Which,
well, I got to tell you, it is remarkable. These are remarkable times. And to digest this and so much more, and there's so much to get to. Doug Burns, former federal prosecutor. Bro, how are you doing today?
Good, Rob.
So the Democrats' remedy to getting their illegal gerrymandering referendum through, and the Supreme Court of Virginia getting rid of it, they just want to declare that everybody in the Supreme Court is too old to serve and make them all retire. What the hell?
Sounds reasonable to me, Rob. Joking aside, anybody who's played sports, watched sports, is familiar with the term sore loser.
Oh.
And that's what's going on here. Interestingly enough, you know, to get a little bit in the legal weeds, and we already discussed this, the decision really, the referendum, just hypothetically in the classroom, could have been the most wonderful thing of all time. The fact is they didn't follow the rules to implement any referendum, okay? So the court never even reached whether it was good, bad, or indifferent. They didn't have to. They didn't have the correct... And by the way, quick diversion, I won't name any names. I read an article from a total idiot who was criticizing Professor Turley, saying he completely avoided explaining the decision. It was one of the most idiotic things I've ever read in my life. It was just ridiculous. And the fact of the matter is, to repeat this, you need 2 sessions of the General Assembly sandwiched around the vote. Okay, that's just elementary in terms of amending the Virginia Constitution. Now, on the merits, let's not put our heads in the sand. It was preposterous for a number of reasons. Number one, it would have given them a 10-to-1 seat advantage instead of 6-to-5. That's absurd. And number two, the wording of the referendum, put aside my technical point about how the court never reached it, the wording was absurd. Are you in favor of restoring fairness? It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And by the way, last point, and I'll shut up. All these Democrats, it's so lame. They just trot out the same point. The voters spoke on this. It's just ridiculous.
It is, and you can tell because they are. I want you to listen. This is Bakari Sellers on CNN, and this is a man who literally is going to take the legacy of the greatest people of color to ever live, the last 130 years, and saying everything that they done. Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, everybody is completely worthless because we are back in 1896.
If somebody fell asleep in 1896. And woke up today in 2026, they would simply say the only difference is now Negroes have a TV show and we wear nice suits. They swapped out Klan hoods for Brooks Brothers.
Where are they going to go with this, Doug? Honestly,
this is where anger and emotion override reason and logic. You and I have discussed before. We discuss right now. The sad question, however, is how many people are susceptible to falling for the nonsense that you just played, okay? Again, what this decision says is that you can't discriminate in any direction, just like by analogy to affirmative action. So the point is you can't set up a congressional district based on race. And then they have this ridiculous meltdown. The big comparison for me was the immunity ruling where they said, official presidential actions can enjoy immunity. Actions outside the scope of the presidency, what you call in Latin ultra vires, a term they use in corporate law, does not enjoy immunity. And you had people on The View saying he can now kill a political opponent in the street, Rob, and he enjoys immunity. So the larger question from 30,000 feet is, A, how can we live in a society where people in positions of some media authority, legal authority, congressional authority are going to make statements like that? And then B, isn't it tragic that with the cover of a lot of the media, people walk around believing it.
Yeah, it's frightening, and I have said, and I believe, that the only place that Democrats can and will go is violence. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. They are not armed physically or intellectually versus the patriotic Americans in the country. It won't end well for them, Doug. But no bones about it. This is what Victor Davis Hanson is saying. This is where they're going to go because they've already been there.
Yeah, everybody has danced around on eggshells, including me, in terms of raising the term, civil war type conflict. But you just made an amazing point, and you're so right. If they want to go in that direction, that would not end well for them. But I just find it unbelievable. Back to how you opened, they want to say any judge over 54 is now out. I mean, are they really that blank crazy?
Well, let's go ahead and say that anybody under 35 has to leave the Democrat Party. I mean, how stupid. That
would be good because then Mondami would be gone.
No, it's ridiculous. This is Victor Davis Hanson talking about the Democrat Party. Hold on.
You put it all together, and that message of the Democrats is not appealing. And so, of course, in the short term, their strategy has been, we're not Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a fascist. And we're going to go demonstrate against Tesla and ICE and no kings, and we're going to try to put him in jail and impeach him on third time, all of that. But long term, it suggests that they have two choices. They either have to change their culture and go back to more traditional lifestyles to improve their demographics and to go back to the assimilationist model, as I think the Republicans have. I don't see that happening. No. Or they would have to lower taxes and cut back entitlements in these blue states to retain.
So what they're going to have to do, Doug, and I've heard the word Jacobin used frequently, they're going to try and rule us rather than reshaping their platform, becoming more appealing, coming to the center, etc. And I don't think it's going to end well for them.
I mean, Professor Hanson's a great analyst, obviously. Don't need me to say that. I've never worked with him nor interacted with him, but I have a lot of respect for him. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is, another part of what he's saying, sort of between the lines, and I've said this before, is that the tragic thing for them is that, they've dug themselves in so hard, so deep, that they just they cannot extricate themselves from this nonsense. Like he's going to build concentration camps. He is like Hitler. Joe Biden looked right in the camera, said this man's the biggest existential threat to our democracy. Yeah. I mean, just sheer lunacy. But the point is, they would be smart, believe it or not, to sit in a conference room and say, as crazy as it is, we're probably better off. We've got to extricate ourselves from this and move in a different direction. But they don't do it, and they just go on and on and on. And it's just
Doug, I've been saying for years, the Democrat Party is going to have to reform itself or disappear into the dustbin of history, and they are in the bin. They are in the bin. Right. And I have and it's happening in real time. We don't need a civil war. They've already shown that they are a Confederate party, and people are fleeing their states. They're already losing whatever civil war there would be. But we'll get to that. I want to also talk on the other side of the break about John Brennan exposing the deep state insiders who are trying to take Donald Trump down. Fortunately, we have another 2.5 years to find them and get rid of them. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
County.
I think, as Liz mentioned, there's still a legion of professionals in the law enforcement environment, the Department of Justice, as well as the CIA and other places, the ones who are refusing to follow politically motivated prosecutions, those who are refusing to support any type of political activities on the part of the Trump administration that are inconsistent with the authorities, the responsibilities of the intelligence community, law enforcement community.
Now, this is a man who weaponized the CIA and, of course, the FBI with Jim Comey against Donald Trump, saying that there are still these minions inside these agencies who are fighting Donald Trump. That wasn't a real smart move, I don't think, in an interview on MS Now. What do you think, Doug?
No, not at all. I mean, for the Yiddish speakers in your audience, that's chutzpah on steroids. This was a guy right in the middle of weaponizing the government all day long. It's interesting, though. I mean, and in all humility, I'm not even joking uncharacteristically. I'm not a psychiatrist, but a psychiatrist would tell you, look, that's a manifestation of an individual, trying to rationalize other people's conduct, knowing full well that they themselves did that exact behavior.
He's projecting.
Yeah.
He's projecting.
Yeah, projecting. Thank you. And the point is, Brennan is on my, top elite list of the absolute biggest, ne'er-do-wells on that specific topic. Raskin, Schiff, Jeffries, Comey, Elizabeth Warren. The list goes on further than that, but I think that's a good starting point. And this is a guy, honestly, who absolutely, totally, and completely and thoroughly abused power. And it was disgraceful.
He's an evil man.
And I'm kind of keeping my eye, obviously, on what's going on in the case against him and waiting to hear something.
You'd think they would shut the hell up and not do anything. If I was under indictment, and here's Jim Comey yesterday on MS Now talking about Donald Trump being obsessed with him.
When he calls you a dirty cop, what is he talking about, and how does that make you feel?
I don't. Honestly, it's crazy that I'm in a place where I'm 65 years old and I actually find it a little bit humorous to have this obsession by this 80-year-old man with me. I don't know. And I am an honest person. I am a person who was raised to stand up and speak out. I can't do any other.
And he's under indictment for threatening the president. There's obviously other things going on. But who the hell does that, Doug?
It's funny you say that, because in the context of any, federal criminal case or state criminal case for that matter, it's very, very, very fundamental, very elementary that you keep your mouth shut, you don't make statements.
I know.
And you're right. And this guy goes on there running his mouth and so on and so forth.
Well, he's playing to the court of public opinion.
Yeah, I hear a lot of analysts, by the way, so I want your audience to focus on this. A lot of analysts are jumping right in, because it's dramatic about they're going to have to prove he intended to kill him. That's absolutely false. If you look, and I know you like statute citations once in a while, 18 U.S.C. 871, that's the applicable statute. And if people just Google it quickly, you'll see that it's kill, kidnap, or injure, attempt to injure. So the point is not limited to killing. And that's a very important legal point, which will play out in court big time, because the argument from the government will be, we're not required, Your Honor, to show that he intended to kill him.
I got to tell you, we need about a 5-hour podcast, Doug, because we got too much stuff to talk about. Alabama AG investigates SPLC for deceptive practices amidst the KKK funding scandal. Steve Marshall is demanding Southern Poverty Law Center hand over donor information, fundraising solicitations, other internal documents after a federal grand jury indicted them for, paying off groups to create hate and fundraise off it. What are your thoughts on this case? Because it's not going to get big and ugly, dude.
It's going to get big and ugly. I couldn't agree with you more. That case is just an amazing point, which is that, and the point, again, I apologize to everybody for being a broken record, but these points, that, like the point I'm about to make now, just doesn't get across to at least 50% of the country. The fact of the matter is, the reason the Southern Poverty Center was down is because racism was down.
Yes.
Now, nobody wants to hear that. That doesn't fit the preferred narrative, obviously. And I couldn't agree with you more. They're like ginning up business for themselves.
It's like giving the KKK, you're on the way to the rally, here's the crosses and here's the gasoline. I got to tell you, this Attorney General Jay Jones, when we're appealing the decision by the Virginia Supreme Court, did you hear about it? He wrote to the Supreme Court of Virginia instead of the Supreme Court, and then there were typos in it. He misspelled Virginia and senator. Instead of senator, he said senator. I mean, honestly, how do you, as somebody who has passed the bar exam, as an AG, how do you show your head in public, your face in public after something like this?
And how do you not know how to hit a button called Spellcheck? No, seriously.
I know.
Senator. What was the other one? How was Virginia? Do you remember
Virginia? I have no friggin' idea.
We don't want to start getting into, what do you call it, anatomical stuff.
Yes.
But the point is...
Virginia.
Yeah, there you go. You read my mind on that one.
I want to go to Virginia. I haven't been in a while, Doug.
It's embarrassing. I mean, again, sore losers.
Yes.
Sore losers. You lost.
I live in Virginia.
You wanted to amend the Constitution? Well, get some goddamn lawyers in a conference room to calmly explain to you, if you want to do that, this is how you have to do it.
Yes.
You have to have one General Assembly, then an election. Because, by the way, they started early voting. They had 1.3 million votes before, you even had the thing in front of anybody.
Yep.
So these people are just absurd, as we've discussed.
Yep.
And the other thing, lastly, is always the double standards and the hypocrisy. So if we were in reverse, as we always bemoan, they'd be lecturing us. Can't you read how to amend the Constitution?
They're so out of their heads.
Are you an idiot? And all of that.
It's because they're so irrational. They don't care. They're lashing out. They're scratching. They're clawing. They're trying to drag us into hell with them and whatever. Listen, if you're ever in the area, I'll show you Virginia. It's spectacular here.
I'm not touching that pronunciation. Sorry.
All right, Doug. I'll talk to you soon, man. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Yeah, haven't been to Virginia in a while. It was funny. Stop now. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but okay. Christian Preacher Boy, what up? Good news. Okay, great. Good to see that. Cool. Your brethren. Okay, appreciate the proselytizing, but we're here to talk to each other, not to preach at one another. I do appreciate you, but you can get an audience elsewhere. You don't need to be, doing all that here. I'm a big believer in God. All that. But let's try to keep it to the topics of the day and not preachifying us. I think everybody in this room believes in God. Rob, what do you think of Newsom saying no way to the gas tax? Of course he was going to say no. He doesn't give a rat's behind about California people and how much they have to pay. And it wouldn't make a big difference anyway. It's not going to make much of a difference for Donald Trump to get rid of the federal gas tax. I think it's a joke, actually. I think it's a joke. It's a joke. Anyway. Yeah, it's the gas tax is should be taken off permanently, and it really doesn't make that big a difference when your gas is $7 a gallon. Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna have to talk here. Oh, this is kind of fun.
Now is a great time to sell your unwanted product.
Got a couple of things here.
With no commission.
They're gonna be fun.
Call me today at
This is one of those days I don't have enough time to get to it all. I don't have time to get to it all, but I know we've done a great job with it. I know we've had a lot of fun today, right? No. God, I got 10 big things I ain't talking about right here.
Sean Hannity is next on Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
Give about 320 here.
Yeah. Thank you. Hey, this is Rob Carson Show. Got a couple of minutes left on the show. This is kind of funny, a little montage of Stephen Colbert since 2017. And his last show is going to be this month because, you know what, he just ruined late night.
Donald Trump has been sworn in as president.
That's 2017.
Of the United States. I know. Listen, we're just as confused as you are. Joe Biden did it. I sat down and just started crying with relief. And Evie said, you never have to talk about him again.
Yeah, guess what?
And then I cried with joy. After a bizarre and vicious campaign fueled by a desperate need not to go to jail, Donald Trump has won the 2024 election. Next year will be our last season. The network will be ending The Late Show in May.
There you go. Bye-bye. 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 I'd like to bring late night here. I'm just going to say that out loud. I know the president listens, or at least watches my TV show. We should do a late night show here with Newsmax. Wouldn't that be fun? Donald Trump talking about a golden ticket. I've got a golden ticket. Because right now the Democrat Party has a clown car for their it's number one, it's AOC, who's an idiot, Pete Buttigieg, who's a terrible transportation secretary, but Donald Trump has a golden ticket.
And he's running and he's in second place. So we got a lot of beauties out there, JD. I envy you and other people. I don't know. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be JD? Is it going to be somebody else? I don't know. Does anybody have? Okay, let's go. You ready?
Yeah.
Who likes JD Vance? Who likes Marco Rubio?
Oh, what? Is somebody saying that?
All
Is
right.
anybody talking about that ticket?
Sounds like a good ticket. JD. That was a perfect ticket.
Oh, my goodness.
By the way, I do believe that's a dream team, but these are minor details. That does not mean you have my endorsement.
No.
Under any circumstance.
No.
But, it's a perfect, there was a big and then a very nice. I think it sounds like presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate.
Isn't that interesting? Who's been saying this for a while? I mean, all of us have, right? Haven't we been talking about JD and Marco? And now Marco's just blowing up the world, just incredible. I knew he was good. I went to see him in 2016 when he was running in Kansas City. I was like, very impressive. Now it's like, oh my God. Phenomenal. JD, too. JD on the stump, man. JD, since he's been, as a vice president. I mean, both of them. You want to talk about a 1-2 punch. Phenomenal. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be JD Marco. That's what I think anyway. It's not going to be Marco JD. JD won't be VP again. We'll see. Anyway, God bless you. America's founded Donald Trump. He's doing a great job as the president. Let's face it, our military. Let's finish off Iran, shall we? Free the Iranian people until tomorrow, which is Wednesday. Don't catch the stupid, okay? I love you guys. See you.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.